Can they do it? Well, the England squad has been based out in Kansas. We're going to catch up with our Selby fella who runs a business out in Kansas. Chris Thomas is from Brit Boy Street Food. Hi, Chris.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm doing well, thank you. Are people still excited about the World Cup, or have they gone all Taylor Swift in the States?
Well, yeah, she's definitely taking a little bit of the coverage this weekend, but no, it's still... World Cup fever is still rife. Kansas City is full of Colombians this weekend. They play tonight, I think. World Cup fever is definitely still upon us, especially with the USA still being in the tournament and playing really well. So that always helps.
It looks like the fans have had an absolute ball out there, no matter what nation they're from, and no matter who they're meeting up with. We don't seem to have seen many problems at all.
Yeah, that's really been the word, right? It's probably one of the reasons I fell in love with the place when I traveled here when I was 19 years old. Everyone's very welcoming, very friendly, and it as much as they do speak the same language of obviously speaking English, it is a different world out here than it is in England. And, people feel very comfortable when they can speak the same language. So just the experiences from the food, the size of everything, it's a unique experience for sure.
So the media is still very front and centre with the World Cup. What are they saying about the Mexico versus England game?
Kind of the soundbite before you had me on, very similar to that. It's their fortress. The media I'm sure it's the same in England. They've not been too impressed with how they've played. We've carved out a result. I personally wasn't worried on Wednesday at all. As soon as we went down, I said we're going to win 3-1. So I was close to the final prediction. But yeah, they just want them to come out and play better. They're optimistic, but also fearful at the same time because it is their fortress, and we definitely have to perform better than we have done if we're going to take Mexico down on home soil.
I mean, it's at 7,000 feet. If you get to 10,000 feet, you need oxygen. This is high up. The Mexicans are used to playing there. We're certainly not. Let's face it. It's going to be tough for England, isn't it?
Big time, yeah. And again, this is where they get to show their might, right? We've got the most expensive midfield, I think, in any other teams in the world. And if we can't keep the ball and run them ragged, then what are we doing? It's definitely not going to be a game where we'll be chasing. So I do anticipate a pretty slow-paced game, if you will, especially if we give up the ball and use a low block and then kind of do the counter-attack tactics with all the speed that we've got. But it'll be interesting, the game plan for sure. Do they start off in a low block and just let them have the ball, or do we try and keep the ball and tire them out? And ultimately that's what happened with Congo, right? They were really good defensively, but in the 70th minute, it usually happens, they get tired, and that's where holes start to creep in and gaps start to appear.
And how's it been for you? How's trade been while all these people have been in town?
Yeah, it's been pretty nuts, to be honest. The biggest uptick we've seen is from office catering orders. Different office buildings and different businesses are having themed World Cup parties for their happy hours. So that's definitely taken an uptick. We just had our best month on record as well. That helps with the farmers markets we were doing, which we spoke about before. Yeah. But the highlight definitely has to have been I catered the Parks and Rec department. So all the staff that are looking after the England facility and the training room and the all of the training facilities, I actually catered the staff last Friday. The FA paid the invoice, so I do have the Football Association. They paid me to do it, which was pretty cool. And then they invited me to the press briefing, the press car on Monday. So I was behind the scenes. I did get a sneaky handshake with Thomas Tuchel, and got to see Jordan Pickford, Dean Henderson. Madueke did the press conference, and then Ollie Watkins walked right in front of me. So all that stuff's on my social media, but that was a pretty insane day.
That's
so
fantastic.
when we win, hopefully I'll be back on Tuesday, and I'm going to take sausage rolls for all the media and just feed everybody on my dime. I'm paying for it this time. So that's what we've got planned next week. when we win.
Fantastic. That sounds absolutely brilliant. And what's this done for the game of soccer? What's this done for football in the States? I mean, obviously, American football, basketball, baseball, huge sports. What's it done for soccer?
Yeah, I mean, Kansas, they say, is the soccer capital of the States. We talked about that a little bit last time. But the longer the host countries stay in, just the more people will pay attention. The watch parties are just insane. I will say they've done a phenomenal job. I can only speak here locally because this is where I am. They've done a phenomenal job in Kansas City with the Fan Fest, which is free to enter, and it's not crazy expensive for food and drinks in comparison to just another venue, another event that's happening. And then we've obviously got the Power and Light District in the heart of downtown, and you've got to be there 2-3 hours early if you want to get into these things when the USA are playing. So it's definitely getting people that don't normally pay attention to pay attention. I've got some friends that are more in the country type, love their baseball, like you said, and football, and never really paid attention to soccer. But talking to some of them just yesterday, they've even been to FanFest. So they've even, drove an hour from where they live to the city to just experience it, which is, I was quite shocked by. So it was pretty cool to hear them say that. So
I think also
definitely going to be leveling it up.
One of the things that surprised me, not surprised, one of the things that's been apparent is speaking to people who are all over the place. And of course, you think of a city break to the States, you go to New York, because obviously it's New York. People might go on holiday to California. But I've been speaking to people out there who are just saying, I talked to two lads who've been to Philadelphia and were absolutely knocked out by the place. Thought it was just incredible. Right. Same from Kansas. Spoke to somebody who was in Chicago the other day who says, I would never in my life have come to Chicago. I don't want to go home. It's really highlighting these other fantastic cities that the States has got.
Oh, 100%, right? It's I follow a YouTube guy. He does stuff in New York, and it's all about it's about food and restaurants. Is it a tourist trap or is it a tourist destination, right? So you've got the coastal cities, New York, LA, that, as you say, get all the attention. You don't have to look very far to get a very similar experience. Because a lot of the cities in the States are similar. The food's different, the culture's different, the heartbeat of it is different. But a lot of the architecture is quite similar, big, tall buildings. And yeah, I definitely encourage people just not to go to the, just to the New Yorks. Take a train ride to Philadelphia or fly into Philly. You can fly direct to Chicago, Atlanta even, if they want to experience the South. There's so many just wonderful places that don't get the media's attention in England or, in Europe because they're not the mainstream cities. But, they'll find it to be a little cheaper. People will be probably more welcoming because there's just less tourists. Kansas City doesn't get a lot of tourists because there's not really stuff to see unless you really live here. If you live here, it's a wonderful city. If you're visiting, you'll have a great time, but there aren't the monuments or the national, the national monuments to look at, take pictures of and such, generally speaking.
Well, it's been great talking to you again, Chris. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us, and let's hope you're there taking sausage rolls to a victorious team on Tuesday. Thanks very much indeed. Fingers crossed, mate. Take care.
Thanks for having me.
That's Chris Thomas there from Brit Boy Street Food. If you're over in Kansas, make sure you check him out. It's just gone 4:30. Let's get some local sport now. Caroline says that caterer who lives in the States, he needs to come home. His accent needs an English reboot. He's over there now. He's great. Brit Boy Street Food. I like that. I pick up accents. I mean, he's been there since he was 19. Stephen tells me the last English football club to win in the Azteca Stadium was Sheffield Wednesday. In 1967. Paul Hudson joins us. Good afternoon, Paul.
Toby, how are you doing? How did your